Compañeros, estamos en Genshin Impact. Vamos a hacer la misión de Yelan, ¿vale? Ya he completado la misión del interludio, ¿vale? Tenemos aquí... vamos a primero a esto aquí. Tenemos aquí el interludio acto 2, ¿vale? Esta es la misión de senderos peligrosos que está ahora mismo como evento. Es la misión de la historia, ¿vale? Esto es historia principal del evento. Así que ya podemos venir aquí a misiones legendarias, sí, usar una llavecita. Desbloqueamos, ahí está. Recogemos esto. Hay una misión aquí que se llama la leyenda del abanico, que se desbloquea después de terminar la misión de la anterior, ¿vale? La misión del interludio. No sé si tiene que ver con la de Yelan o no, pero bueno, mi intención es hacer primero esta. Y es que las dos son lo mismo, pasear por las calles de Liyue, ¿vale? Así que es posible que esta se me triggere cuando vaya a intentar hacer esta, ¿vale? Vamos a darle así. Vale, pasea por Liyue. Quiero mirar también, solicitar aprobación, vale, que puede que venga alguien. Ahí está. Vamos a ir a Liyue. No sé si va a ser la misma ubicación, rollo, que se me va a triggerear aquí, pero eso, que si se me triggerea una y no la otra, pues que se me ha puesto automático, no puedo hacerle nada. No quería hacerla ahora mismo, ¿vale? Es la cosa. Esta es la de Yelan, tiene voces, ¿vale? No sé quién eres, así que sí, supongo que ha sido mucho tiempo. Dios mío, Paimon, no me acordaba de cómo de horrible era tu voz. Es que durante la misión de principal estaba mucho más triste y tal, por eso de estar encerrada en una cueva y era todo más normal. O sea, hablaba de forma calmada y ahora se pone aquí... ¡Ah, Josín! ¿Cuánto tiempo? Dios mío, parece el puto pato Donald, perdón. Perdón, me calmo. Está bien. Ah, vale, ya me acuerdo de quién es esta. Esta es...
I've been feeling distracted at work lately. I just feel constantly agitated.
Esta creo que aparece en la misión de... ¿Cómo se llama? No es Ganyu, Yanfei, creo. Creo que aparece en la misión de Yanfei. Que tenemos que devolverle su peine o algo, no me acuerdo cómo era, ¿vale? Ocurrió algo, pero bueno, que es de las 7... Es de parte de las... De los generales de Liyue. Es que quiero decir las 7 estrellas, pero es que no es lo mismo de a lo que quiero decir, ¿vale? Es una política, ¿vale? De esa. Ocurrió algo.
It's a long story.
Mira, aquí está. Es la hija del 7 estrellas este.
Due to health issues. What's wrong with Uncle Tien? Nothing specifically. He's not unwell. He says he's just increasingly low on energy these days. He's always said, old age comes for us all in the end. Still, I just can't help but feel a little emotional watching it happen to him. Anyway, my father's currently on the 2nd floor of Yangsheng Tea House. Why don't you come pay him a visit with me? He seems very fond of you too.
Oh, le
I'm
caemos
sure chatting with you
bien.
will make him very happy. Sure, let's go.
Venga, no tengo problema. Este creo que era el que es un NPC genérico, pero con el pelo, o sea, perdón, con ropa blanca. Y ya está, ¿eh? O sea, me acuerdo de él. O por lo menos creo acordarme de él. Hola, el colmillo. Ah, segunda planta, dicho, perdón. Segunda planta. Ahí está. Sí, este es. Ropa blanca. Bueno, y pelo blanco también.
What a lovely surprise. Welcome.
Creo que también aparece en la misión de Ganyu.
Go downstairs and get the shopkeeper to make us a fresh pot of tea.
Y en la de Genshin, o en algún evento de Genshin podría ser también, es que no estoy seguro. Aparecen en muchos sitios los mismos personajes, ¿vale? Y me marea.
All over the place recently. I would very much like to hear your adventure stories.
Ay, ¿te encuentras bien? Nos preocupa tu salud.
Oishin told you, didn't she? Don't worry. I'm quite all right. It's just the years gradually catching up with me. As I grow older, I'm starting to find that with many things, though the mind is willing, the flesh is weak. Especially recently, I've noticed a rather drastic drop in my energy levels.
¿Sabéis lo que ocurre con esto de intentar achacarlo a que es por la edad? Que cuando lo achacas a lo de la edad, no haces nada por remediarlo, porque dices, no hay remedio, me estoy haciendo viejo, ¿vale? Y es probable que no sea solo eso, o sea, es probable que el simple hecho de pensar que se está haciendo viejo es lo que le está quitando la energía, ¿vale? Porque es, yo qué sé, es más mental que otra cosa, o de eso de tener baja energía.
I am still very much in good standing as the Tianshu today. Nevertheless, I wish to pass on the position before my mental acuity begins to decline beyond redemption.
How
Razonable.
difficult is it to transfer the Tianshu position?
Oh, well, you see, the Tianshu is a rather unique position among the Liu Qixing. Historically speaking, the Tianshu rarely appears in public. We stay behind the scenes, planning and giving advice, so a public selection process would not be suitable. We also want to keep any prospective Tianshu candidates free from influence by outside forces, so we tend to be as discreet as possible in their
Tenemos que
assessment
buscar un
and
nuevo eje
appointment.
celestial.
For these reasons, the incumbent Tianshu typically recommends their candidate of choice, and this is then approved by the other Qixing members.
So in other words, you pick someone, and then Lady Keqing, Lady Ningguang, and the other Qixing appoint them?
Correct. Unfortunately, due to my health, I won't be able to assess every candidate
Me sorprende que no
myself.
vaya a ser su hija la que
Not to despair, however,
elija.
because I found someone exceptionally capable to act on my behalf as assessment officer. In fact, I believe you recently became acquainted with her yourself.
Oh? Who is it?
I'm heartbroken. I thought it might take you a little longer than this to forget all about me.
A ver, simplemente no te tenemos en mente, no significa que nos olvidemos de ti. Pero bueno, hola.
Jackpot. Uncle Tien here asked me to assess 3 candidates for him.
3
Fancy
candidatos.
joining me? You'll be among the first to get to know the next Tianshu. Might be a good opportunity for you.
Venga, ¿por qué no?
What do you think?
No me interesa mucho. La verdad que no me interesa mucho.
After all, whoever the next Tianshu is, it doesn't really make any difference to us.
Sí, yo estoy preocupado por el viejo.
Well, Paimon's really curious to see which
qué rabia.
candidates Uncle Tien picked, so let's go take a look.
Pues
Alright
venga.
then.
Paimon dice verde,
So,
pues
I gotta
verde.
say,
Venga.
Uncle Tien, you say you're into behind-the-scenes planning? My work's of the covert variety too. Don't you think I might make a good Tianshu?
Huh? Yelan, you want to be the next Tianshu?
Ese movimiento no me lo esperaba.
I'm not opposed to the idea, but I suspect Ningguang wouldn't let you go very easily after how long you've been working together. So, how about this? If your investigation reveals that none of the other candidates are qualified for the position, I'll recommend you for the job.
Deal. Well, you guys take your time. Everything's all set for the assessments
Esto
to
está
go
un
ahead.
poco curioso porque esto asume que Yelan, bueno, asume, esto solo funciona cuando se asume que Yelan es lo bastante respetable como para eso, no intervenir en la evaluación de esos 3 otros candidatos para poder beneficiarse ella. ¿Sabéis? No sé, igual es que sospecho mucho de la gente, pero no veo que esto funcione tan bien como esperan, ¿eh?
Meet me on the first floor when you're ready. Until then, have a pleasant conversation. Oh, and no need to pay for your tea. As the new owner of this fine establishment, this runs on the house.
Acá compra el sitio. Lol. No sé si esto sale en el tráiler de Yelan o algo.
You're all
sé.
set?
Uncle Tien seems really worn down. It's like all his energy's gone.
Yeah, it may sound harsh, but Uncle Tien is past his prime. He's not cut out for this anymore. So he's recommended 3 candidates. Their names are Qinwei, Mingbo, and Zhi.
Mingbo me cae
Qinwei
bien.
is a wealthy
Por el nombre
entrepreneur.
simplemente, ¿vale? No por otra cosa.
Mingbo works at the Liyue Ministry of Civil Affairs, And your E is focused on study and travel. Try to keep all that in mind. Of course, it doesn't really matter if you forget, since we'll be assessing them at High Pavilion in a short while.
Qianwei, Mingbo, Jui. Paimon should be able to remember their names, but what does the assessment involve exactly?
Let's leave that until we get to High Pavilion. All right. Heads in the game, people.
Me estoy planteando seriamente cambiar el idioma a japonés solo para no escuchar a Paimon así. Que me habéis dicho que se escucha mejor en japonés a Paimon por algún motivo.
Keep our eyes wide open.
Vale. O sea que no nos dice ningún detalle concreto de quién es, solo su nombre. Puedo... Vale, voy a teletransportarme. Que este está arriba del todo. Joder. Vale, este tipo de cosas que están pasando. Veis que tarda un poquito como en cargar el mapa y tal. Después de que le dé y me confundo y tal. Eso es porque estoy grabando cosas en el disco, ¿vale? En el disco duro. Y es el mismo disco duro en el que está el juego, ¿vale? Así que se va un poco a la mierda. Vale. No creo que vayamos a ver a los tres al mismo tiempo. Lo que no sé es si lo ha dicho el nombre por orden.
My legs are getting sore. What is wrong with this assessment officer? This is a huge occasion and I don't even get a chair.
Sí, los tres al mismo tiempo.
I've dealt with all kinds of people in my time, but never have I been made to stand while I'm waiting for an appointment.
Oh, wow, tiene que estar de pie.
I mean,
Este es el estudioso, me
I
imagino,
think
¿no?
it's fine.
That's called being complacent.
Espero que
If
este
you're
sea el
happy to
que
just
tiene el nombre
accept the
gracioso.
way things are, you'll never be able to
Quiero que
change
gane
anything
ese.
in the future.
Oh, come
Este,
on.
quiero que gane este.
That's just... Now you're just being unreasonable.
All right, you two. Let's not get into a big argument over this. It's not worth it. Qianwei, that was a bit uncalled for. And Mingbo cut him some
Mingbo,
slack.
vamos.
We've all been standing around for a while. It's natural to be getting irritable. Look, how about this? There's no rule saying we're obliged to stand up while we wait, so why don't we borrow some chairs from the guild nearby?
Fine. They're not the best quality chairs, to be sure. But under the circumstances, it
Este
would
no va a
be better
ganar.
than nothing.
Y me da que Mingbo, o sea, Mingbo este
It looks like all three candidates have
que me
arrived.
hace gracia el nombre, no va a ganar tampoco. Eran esos tres. El otro no tengo ni idea, pero esos dos por lo menos parece que no.
We'll meet them formally
Hay que apostar,
soon.
¿no?
Before that, let me run you through the assessment process. I've split it into 2 stages: current affairs and planning, and face-to-face interview. In the first stage, candidates are required to submit a manifesto for Liyue's development. In the second stage, we will ask them some questions in person. Writing a manifesto takes time, so I informed them of this requirement in advance. These are the reports they submitted.
Wow. One of them is really thick.
Sé que
It's
sea más
also
grande
worth
no implica
mentioning
que
a
sea
stipulation
mejor.
I gave them. Whoever is
Bueno, a ver,
appointed as the new Tianshi
en este
will be
caso.
expected to implement their plan as put forward in their
Importante.
manifesto. Failing the occurrence of some cataclysmic event, they will not be permitted to change their plan. Therefore, these 3 piles of documents in front of us represent where each candidate stands on key policy issues. There's still some time. Have a skim through, get a first impression of what each person's proposing. I'll be waiting off to the side. Just let me know when you're done.
Voy a tener que leer el tocho ese. Examina las propuestas, a ver. Plan de Mingbo, el que más me interesa. Trata en detalle asuntos íntegros de bienestar. Desde el punto de vista de Mingbo, un mundo justo para todos se consigue con rectitud. Vale. Voy a sentarme. La propuesta de Qianwei aborda bastantes temas de índole comercial y presenta muchas ideas perspicaces al respecto. Desde el punto de vista de Qianwei, la regulación y los beneficios son indispensables. Este le va a gustar a Ningguang. Vale. La propuesta de Ziji trata de forma pormenorizada todo tipo de aspectos, como asuntos internos y las relaciones exteriores y la supervisión. Parece que para Zinji lo esencial es resolver problemas, por lo que ofrece soluciones claras y concisas a numerosos dilemas. Eso no... O sea, está bien, ¿vale? No me entendáis, eso está bien, pero no es... una política de avance hacia el futuro. No se trata de resolver problemas y ya está. Hace falta proponer ideas nuevas también, no solo arreglar lo roto. Con la tontería, parece que Mingbo es el que más me gusta. Como tiene muchas páginas, solo puedes darle una ojeada. A ver, sinceramente, están bien las propuestas que tiene y ya tenemos la solución ahí. Ahora bien, no me parece que sea una buena política, ¿vale? En fin, me gusta Mimbo. Mimbo me cae bien. Vamos a ir a por Mimbo.
Finished, huh? What did you think?
Everyone took it very seriously.
Of course they did. They have the chance to be picked as the new Tianshu, so you can bet they're putting their best foot forward.
Ay, mierda.
And
Perdón.
keep in mind, whoever gets in has to execute their plan as written. Nobody wants to have any regrets.
¿Y qué piensas tú, Yelan?
That's for me to know and you to find out. We can talk more after the interviews.
Eso es que él la va
We'll see
a
the
examinar a
candidates
ella.
now. Let's do one at a time. Start with Chenwei.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh? So you two are the assessment officers, are you?
Este es el de beneficios, ¿no?
Great import of this situation, Lady Ningguang would perhaps be assessing us in person. I certainly hadn't imagined I'd be seeing two entirely unfamiliar faces. I trust you've read through my manifesto? I'd be more than happy to clarify any details you found difficult to grasp. It was written with an expert audience in mind, after all.
Mind your tone, mister.
Relax. It wasn't intended as a personal slight against anyone in particular. I was simply stating a fact.
Tus habilidades de comunicación son como la preservadora de nubes. Aprendiste tus habilidades de comunicación. Esta.
Cloud Retainer? You know this Adeptus? Oh, yes, I remember now. You must be the traveler.
Eso no
that
era un
people are
complemento,
constantly
¿vale? Eso no era
talking
un
about.
algo
With
bueno.
your sterling reputation, you must have a respectable level of erudition. Perhaps you will be able to understand the concepts I have put forward. Although I shouldn't get my
Cuando
hopes up.
pierda, va a decir que es que no somos capaces de entenderlo, ¿no?
Oh.
Vale.
Is it my turn?
Yes. Please introduce yourself.
I'm, Mingbo. I work in the Ministry of Civil Affairs. I've worked there for, 9 years, 5 months, and 3 days. In that time, I've handled, 2,347 cases. I have 12 active cases at the moment. They should be concluded in, 16 days. My current work is related to urban planning, and I'm also responsible for, auditing the accounts. To be more precise, there are 3 parts to the accounts, namely...
Is it just Paimon, or is he not very good at public speaking?
No, no lo es.
You know what? Let's
Eso no
leave
es
the
un problema,
self-introduction there
sinceramente.
and move on to some questions.
Oh,
Trabaja en las
Ok.
sombras de que
sorry.
no tiene nada que ver con el público. Por ahora, Mingbo es el mejor, ¿eh? Mingbo for President.
Hello. Not gonna lie, I'm feeling a little nervous.
Este es el que quiere resolver
What would you like
problemas.
to know? You're here to assess me, so ask away and I'll answer your questions to the best of my ability.
Your manifesto is very wide in its scope, but you don't seem to be personally involved in many of the specific fields. How can you be sure that you have the ability to put your plan into action?
Directo al grano.
Very fair question. I completely understand where you're coming from. But
Pero-
I'm confident in my plan. I've visited many different places, talked to lots of people with far more expertise than myself, and my manifesto is the conclusion of these efforts. Of course, 2 different problems can be interconnected in very complicated ways, and you might reach 2 very contradictory conclusions depending on which one you're focusing on. What I've tried to do is
Vale.
strike a balance. In other words, present an optimal solution to all the problems as a whole.
How do you plan to determine whether you are right or wrong about your proposed solution being the optimal one?
A great question. Well, I'd start by having my colleagues and the secretaries of the Yuehai Pavilion evaluate any proposals before implementation.
Eso va a hacer que tarden
Post-implementation,
mucho en
it would all come
implementar
down to
cualquier
the
tipo de
results.
cambio, ¿eh?
If
Eso
it
es
turned
un
out that my
problema.
judgment was to blame for poor results, I would take responsibility.
Nice answer. All right, next question.
Vale, después de Mingbo diría que Zille es el que más probabilidades tiene.
Guy, everything he said was pleasure to listen to.
No estoy tan impresionado.
Here's my take on what we just learned.
A ver.
As you saw, Qianwei is highly knowledgeable. He proposes many excellent ideas in his manifesto, which effectively target the big issues. But he is very proud and incredibly stubborn. He doesn't care much about other people's feelings. Mingbo's plan is more thorough and more measured.
Ahí, Mimbo
You can
for
tell he's
president. Venga, ahí.
meticulous in his work, very detail-oriented. But he and Qianwei are otherwise polar opposites. Mingbo is not very articulate and comes across as very timid in conversation.
Perfect summary. Paimon couldn't agree more. You're good at this, Yelan.
Last but not least, Jur-E. His manifesto is full of pertinent details, his methodology is sound, and his proposals cover a broad range of fields, which is quite a rare feat. The depth he goes into in each and every area means it can only be a product of painstaking work. Plus, he is modest and good at dealing with people. But what really interests me is that many of his views happen to coincide with Uncle Tien's. Having someone like Jur-E take the position would certainly put Uncle Tien's mind at rest.
Great.
We'll see. Let's go back and report to Uncle Tien.
No me cuadra. O sea, el 100 este es como demasiado perfecto. Prefiero a Nimbo, O sea, me parece una mejor opción. Por el simple hecho de que creo que tiene una capacidad, ¿vale? Aún por explotar. ¿Me explico? No, bueno, da igual. A ver qué tal. Bro, parece que te vas a morir ya, ¿Qué coño?
It's more or less as I anticipated.
All right, then let me ask this. The ideas in Jur-E's manifesto are very similar to your own. Is there any particular reason behind this?
Oh, I didn't want to say anything when I gave you the list of candidates, for fear of affecting your judgment. But I can tell you now, those 3 candidates have all studied under me in the past. It's only natural that they share some similarities with me. But Qianwei went on to focus on his business, and Mingbo has always been occupied with his work at the Ministry of Civil Affairs. Of all of them, Jur-E was with me for the longest duration.
Whoa. So how did you get to know them all, Uncle Tien?
Qianwei was referred to me by an old friend. Mingbo came to my attention in the course of my work. And as for Jur-E, I was pure happenstance.
¿Veis? Mimbo llamó la atención.
We first met while fishing. Gradually, as we got to know each other, we started discussing all sorts of topics. Jur-E came from a poor family, and his parents died when he was very young.
¿Y cómo es que tiene dinero
But he
para
was a gifted
estudiar,
student
para dedicarse a
and a
estudiar?
fast learner. He reminded me of a younger version of myself. So I started out giving him a few words of advice when we were out fishing and noticed how quickly he got on.
Parece que lo consideras un amigo.
Quite. And now, all of a sudden, he's grown into a mature young man. It's a joy to see, but it also gets one thinking. The young are growing up, and I am growing old. How time flies. No one can escape the cycle of life.
I don't know, Uncle Tien. You still seem in pretty good shape to me. You might have another few years of work left in you, don't you think?
Oh, you. There's really no need to console me. Having less energy than I used to isn't such a bad thing. It just means I finally have a good reason to retire. Spend my days doing what old men like me should be doing.
No entiendo cuál es el punto
Going fishing
de esto.
whenever I feel like it.
Sounds like you sure love fishing, Uncle
No
Tien.
podemos ir de pesca con él,
There's
supongo.
nothing quite like fishing to pass the time. Ooh, and freshly caught fish, they make the most beautiful fish soup with barely any preparation required.
Yeah,
Fresh
tengo que
fish
decir.
soup.
Supongo, no sé. No me gusta mucho el pescado, sinceramente, así que...
Doesn't it? Also, some time ago, Jury purchased a very special recipe.
Vale, ahora quiere que le haga comida, ok.
When we've been fishing recently, Jury always brings some extra ingredients he prepared in advance. The addition of these makes the soup taste even more wonderful. That flavor makes for a fond memory. But at my age, who knows how many more chances I have left to taste it again.
Seguro que podrás tomarla muchas veces más. Venga,
Oh, can Paimon come next time too? Paimon really wants to try it.
Let's get back to the matter at hand.
Debemos haber vuelto al tema en cuestión hace
We've
bastante
reported
tiempo.
back. Do you have a verdict?
I appointed you as the assessment officer, and I trust your judgment.
Mingbo.
Had you not asked me why Jury's ideas were so similar to mine, I was not going to mention my history with any of them. This decision must be guided by what is fair and right. Please disregard all other considerations and make your final decision only after a thorough review of each candidate's talents and capabilities.
Digo todo el rato lo de que prefiero a Nimbo, no solo porque me haya caído bien y el nombre me hace gracia, sino porque es que el hecho de que el Ziwi este, como se llame, se parezca al tío Tian, no significa que todo vaya a estar mejor. O sea, el hecho de que tenga sus ideas no significa que sean las mejores ideas del mundo. No me parece que lo de resolver problemas sea la única cuestión importante. Es importante, sí, pero no es lo único importante, y eso es lo que más se centra el Ziwi este. Nada de especial preocupación con el resto de problemas de este sitio.
Remember, you must be thorough.
Understood. Come on, let's go talk somewhere else.
Bye-bye, Uncle Tian. Look after yourself.
Venga.
So, it's gonna be Jiri, right?
Ja.
His manifesto was written well, and he's the best speaker.
Easy. Let's not rush. There's no time limit for this assessment.
Huh? So, are you gonna give them more tests or something?
No, nothing like that. The assessment itself is complete. But let me give you a word of advice. Things are not always as they appear. The biggest no-no in intelligence work is to only get information from the person of interest themselves. The truth is almost always hidden beneath many layers of deception. You have to get information through many different channels. For example, Wenyuan, Shanghua.
Yes?
Anda. Ninjas. Ninjas liyueano.
What are your orders?
Ugh! Who are they? Where did they come from?
Ninjas, no te lo estoy
Did they
diciendo.
scare you? These two are Wenyuan and Shanghua. They work for me. As my
Shanghua?
trusted assistants,
Eso
they
no
are
es
always
la
standing
de
guard
crío.
nearby. They
Perdón.
also perform various assignments as required. Shanghua is a business expert who gets his information by trading. Wenyuan relies on word of mouth. And there's also Upei, who's not here right now.
That meathead must have been out there on sea surveillance for some time now. Is he all right? I seem to remember that he can't swim.
Nothing can take that guy down. Certainly not a little wind and waves.
Shanghua, visit all the commerce guilds and look into Qianwei's background. Wenyuan, go to the Ministry of Civil Affairs and look through Mingbo's work files.
Nosotros nos encargamos del
ma'am.
otro. Nosotros nos vamos a encargar del otro. ¡Qué pena! A mí me gustaba Mimbo. Seguro que gana el Cigi este de los
Juri.
cojones.
Well, obviously, as the most promising candidate, we will be investigating him ourselves. Let's go to the docks first.
Si es que lo peor es que ya está decidido. Una vez que han dicho que es el más prometedor.
All kinds of things.
If we're looking for information, why don't we try talking to Bulai, the owner of Wanyu Boutique? He does business at the North Wharf. Maybe he has some news for us.
That's actually not a bad idea. Let's go and ask him.
Volai es mi coleguilla también. Le vendo cosas de mucho valor. Me paga un precio bastante malo. Y yo le digo las gracias. Más o menos de eso se trata nuestra interacción con Volai. Yo le digo gracias porque me estafe. Aparte de ser un contrabandista, es un poco estafador, ¿vale? Las dos cositas. Es importante.
What's Bulai doing here today?
Anda. Chimpín ponía. No me da cuenta del nombre.
Your asking price for this batch is just too high. I can't buy in at this price. How am I supposed to turn a profit?
Come on, hear me out. I'm telling you, this is the single best batch of Sunsetias ever. You won't find anyone who disputes that. I accidentally dropped one into a well, and even the water turned sweet.
Even so...
All right. I'll let you in on a little secret. The boss of Second Life also wants to buy from me, but I haven't responded yet. If you won't take him, I'll just have to partner with them instead. And neither of us wants that.
Okay.
Ninguno de los dos quiere eso.
When you put it that way, I'll accept your asking price. I'll take all your stock. Don't sell a single one to Second Life.
¿Por qué les cae tan mal Second Life? Qué fácil es engañar a este hombre.
And to be clear, these Sunsetias are mine. I got to them first. Don't get any ideas.
Tengo de sobre en mi inventario.
Actually, we want to ask you about a guy called
Muchas, pero
Juri.
muchas.
Have you heard of him before?
Juri? Yes, he's quite well known. I've heard a story about him. They say he was born into poverty. His parents died when he was young, and he was treated cruelly by the local community. One of his neighbors was terribly rude to him all the time, but Juri never retaliated. And when his neighbor went bankrupt, he even helped support the family. He returned cruelty with kindness, injustice with peace offerings. A gentleman of talent and character, and... how did I not notice him sooner? In fact, maybe I'm not too late. If I could hire him to be the brand ambassador for Wanyo Boutique.
He sounds like a
Bueno, pues ya tiene
decent
trabajo, ¿no?
man. We can finally breathe a sigh of relief.
No, en serio, ¿de dónde has sacado el dinero si es de una familia humilde y sus padres están muertos y solo se dedica a
You
estudiar?
aren't looking for a brand ambassador too, are you?
Algo parecido.
Well then, in that case, the higher bidder takes the... that's Juri right over there. Why don't we go and talk to him?
Where?
Es un engaño.
It's him, all right. Looks like he's chatting with Linlong. Come on, let's follow them and
Ah, que
listen
encima se está ligando a la hija
Try not to let
del
him see
señor
you.
este, ¿cómo se llama? Del
We
señor
want this
Tien.
information to be as truthful as possible.
I'll just go and fetch an employment contract. And hey, don't try and cut me out of this. Hey!
Pasamos por
I
completo de volar.
understand.
Venga.
Let's walk and talk.
Si está demasiado lejos, perderá el objetivo. Bueno, pero es que no puedo dejar que me vean, ¿no?
So, you were looking to buy a wineware set? Oh, now I can see that you're a connoisseur, so I won't bother trying to con you. I trust you understand our shop quite well?
Vaya voz de mierda tiene. ¿Esta es la voz que tenía antes? No, ¿no?
The truth is, an old friend of mine who likes to...
What's the hurry? Don't get too close, or he'll
Ups.
see you.
Me ha visto. Yelan cuestiona tus habilidades de rastreo. Me siento juzgado. Me estaba viendo a
Try not
través
to
de
let him
los...
see you. We want this.
Me estaba viendo a través de los
I
tablones
understand.
esos.
Let's walk and talk.
Venga. No va a decir nada para que avance
So,
del
you were
mismo sitio.
looking to buy a wineware set? Oh, now I can see that you're a connoisseur, so I won't
No,
bother
repite el
trying
mismo.
to con you.
Vale, pues
I
mejor no
trust you
equivocarnos más,
understand our
¿vale?
shop quite well?
The truth is, an old friend of mine who likes to have a drink now and then. He fancies himself as a man of culture, but doesn't care for needless extravagance. So I thought I might buy him a set of high-quality fakes.
How very thoughtful of you. Leave it to me then. Come and collect it at Shigu Antiques whenever is convenient.
Ah, vale, es que esta no es la hija del tío. Esta es una que trabaja en otro lado por completo. O sea,
Thank you very much, Miss
completamente
Yelan.
diferente. Esta es la
It's
del...
my pleasure,
La de los
Mr.
sigils,
Juri.
creo.
These days, it's quite rare for someone of your standing to still keep up with their old friends. It's nice to see.
Posición, ¿qué
I'll
posición
be sure to
tiene?
pick out a good set for you. You can count on me.
Solo sabemos de él que se dedica a estudiar. No ha dicho en qué trabaja ni nada. O sea, según como lo han dicho, no tiene trabajo.
Juri seems to get along really well with everyone. Are you satisfied now, Yelan? Seems like everyone thinks Juri's a great guy.
We shouldn't jump to conclusions just yet. Let's go check out the wharf where he usually goes fishing.
Do we have to?
La verdad es que estoy con Paimon ahora mismo. De verdad tenemos que
You're
hacer toda
not
esta
just trying
mierda.
to dig up some dirt on Juri because you want to be Tianchu yourself, are you?
Sí.
Maybe I am. Maybe I'm not. But hey, if I do become Tianshu, I'll look out for you guys.
Diciendo eso, no
You'll
estoy
be
seguro
able
de
to
si
try
es lo
all
mejor
the
de...
finest food
que
for
lo sea.
free. How does that sound?
Me está intentando sobornar.
Well, come on! Off to the South Wharf we go!
Creo que el hecho de que nos esté intentando sobornar significa que no es buena para el puesto. Está un pelín lejos. ¿Puedo saltarme al andar? Puedo saltarme un poco de andar. Ay, el hecho de que siga intentándolo, o sea, me hace un poco como dos efectos en mi cabeza, porque al mismo tiempo estoy pensando que quieren alargar la misión como sea, y a la vez estoy pensando que no estamos haciendo nada con respecto a Yelan. O sea, no sé si os dais cuenta, pero Yelan ha aparecido en la misión menos que un NPC genérico con un nombre gracioso. O sea,
The wharf is as busy as ever.
no sé.
I hear the anglers here sometimes sell their fish to the nearby fishmongers. Let's see what Uncle Soon has to say.
A ver. Ah, este es el estafador del pescado.
Welcome. What would you like to buy today?
Venimos a comprar información.
Sorry to interrupt. We're actually members of the Liyue Anglers Association, and we just wanted to ask a few questions.
No mientes
about
muy
someone.
bien, Yelan.
We've heard about this young man called Juri, who's supposed to be a fantastic fisherman. Just wondering if you happen to have heard of him?
Whoa! Yelan made up a whole fake identity without batting an eyelid!
Ah, yes, Juri. He's been making quite a name for himself recently. I've got some friends who travel all over the place, and they tell me everywhere they go they meet someone who's heard of him. Apparently, he had a rather tough
Eso es
time
algo
growing
malo,
up.
por cierto.
Had to work several jobs alongside his studies to make ends meet. How does that sound?
Varios trabajos, vale.
What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Well, if there's anything to that logic, he's sure to be phenomenally successful one day.
Yeah, we think so too!
But I'm afraid your Anglers Association might be in for a disappointment.
A ver qué ocurre.
Why's that?
He's good at a lot of things, but fishing isn't one of them. He fishes at the wharf and sells what he catches to me on occasion. His catches are always mediocre. Not terrible, but equally nothing to write home about. If you're looking to recruit some new members, though, I do know a few top anglers I could put you in touch with.
That sounds fantastic.
Al
I've got a
Ziggy
couple
este
of
lo
other
conoce
things to attend to
demasiada
right now,
gente. Eso
though,
es
so
malo, ¿vale? Ya
why
nos
don't
han
I come
mencionado
back
antes
some other time and we can
que
chat over a
no...
drink.
O sea, que es un trabajo más de
Sure
estar en
thing.
las
See
sombras,
you.
de que nadie lo conozca.
Everywhere they go, they meet someone who's heard of him.
Ahí está, ella también lo ha notado.
Come on.
Vale.
Let's keep asking around.
Ella también lo ha notado. Eso es malo. Aparte, bueno, el que sea mediocre no es... A ver... Ah, este es el que está tirándole trastos a la loca esta. Nada, ¿no? Esto nada. A ver, no... El ahogado, venga.
Here to buy some fish?
Ay.
It's 300 for one or 3 for 1,000. You better hurry. When they're gone, they're gone.
Vaya
Hello,
estafa.
we're from the Society for Fish Price Research. We'd just like to ask
¿En serio alguien se
questions.
cree esta mierda? Joder.
She switched identity again.
¡Wow! Cambió otra vez de identidad siendo lo más sospechoso del mundo.
Price research. I haven't done anything illegal. Stay out of my business.
Please, don't worry. We're just here to conduct a simple survey. We've heard about a certain Jur-E who's been selling fresh fish at low prices in this area recently. Do you know anything about this?
So this isn't about me. You should have said something, you know. I know the guy. I can tell you what I know. I haven't heard anything about him selling fresh fish at low prices, but it wouldn't surprise me if it was him.
Oh? What is that?
A ver, ¿qué ocurre? Bueno, esto le vende a la competición, ¿no? Le
Because
vende al
he's so
otro.
poor. His parents died when he was very young, and his alcoholic father still owed a huge amount of debt.
O sea, que no
one
solo
wanted anything to do with him.
no tiene herencia, sino que tiene una
He was
deuda
still a kid when
enorme.
he first came to the wharf. His clothes were ragged, and he had a bandage wrapped around his head. And he managed to survive, thanks to Uncle Tien, who gave him some food. But still to this day, he doesn't have a lot of mora to his name. I mean, he can afford to eat and everything, but you'll often see him haggling with others over just a few mora. So, I wouldn't be surprised to find out he's been selling a few fish. It's not like he catches much anyway, so it's not going to affect my business. Don't tell him I said that.
Joder,
You'd rather
pobrecillo.
he didn't know?
Well, I spoke to him once briefly, and I just had a feeling that he really cares what other people think of him. I think he has pretty low self-esteem, but hey, it's hardly my place to say anything. What he's achieved already.
Bueno, eso ya se lo ha
puts
notado
most
desde el
people to
principio,
shame.
¿no? No es ninguna
And
sorpresa, la
nobody's
verdad.
perfect. I just wouldn't want to upset him. That's all.
I see. Well, thank you for sharing that with us.
Not a problem. And just for the record, there's absolutely nothing wrong with the price of my fish.
The more times you say it, the less convincing it becomes.
Sí, sí, así es. Igual que Yelan, más o menos, pero bueno.
Doesn't have a lot of mora to his name. Okay, let's keep going.
Ay, vale. El niño. No sé. Sí, ¿no? Sí.
It's you guys. Wait, what's the phrase? Oh yeah, honored to meet you. What
¿Este
brings
quién
you
es?
to me?
No me acuerdo de quién es, la verdad. Me
The
suena de
truth
algún
is,
encuentro,
we
pero
are
no me
but
acuerdo de quién es.
newcomers to this territory. We heard tell of a great martial artist, Master Dugu, who knows everything there is to know. Hence, we sought you out to ask for your guidance.
Really? People said I know everything there is to know?
Joder, pobrecillo. Yelan, eres
We also heard that
malísima
Master
onda,
Dugu is a kind and
Dios mío.
virtuous swordsman who never turns away anyone who comes with questions.
Great. So what do you wish to know? Nothing happens on this street that I don't know about.
A ver, venga. En esta calle, ojo. En esta calle.
Oh, she's lying to a kid.
Pero se le ve muy contento. Sí, bueno, supongo. Que se le mintió a un niño.
So, Master
Pobrecillo.
Dugu,
Súper
have you heard of one by
contentísimo
the
él.
name of Jur-E?
Sure have. You mean that guy that all the grown-ups are talking about these days? I've heard many tales of Juri. For example, I can't remember. Probably 'cause it's nothing that important. I prefer stories about sword-fighting heroes.
Sí, no hace nada
I can
especialmente importante.
completely understand that. Then let me ask you this. Do you remember roughly when the grown-ups started talking about Jur-E?
Va a ser casualmente
Oh, yeah,
cuando
I know
empezaron las
that.
elecciones,
It
¿no?
was about 2 or 3 months ago. Before that, people always used to talk about Juri in a kind of nasty tone of voice. But 2 or 3 months ago, suddenly everyone started to like him. Sometimes he gives me candies, so I'm glad that people are starting to like him now.
Esto es sospechoso,
Just as
¿eh?
I thought.
Ahí está, sí.
Huh? What do you mean?
Mean vote for president.
Just
Mean
as
vote
I
for
thought,
president.
Master Dugu is indeed as kind and virtuous as the legends claim.
Joder.
I'm not that great. Oh yeah, one other thing. These days, there's a lot of people I've never seen before talking about Juri stories in the street. They seem like nice people.
Cille es mala onda.
Definitely.
Cille es mala onda.
Great.
Venga.
So next time I see them,
Espero que
I'll
sea
say
mala
hi.
onda.
And I
Yo que sé,
guess
así
I
por lo
can
menos
share
pasa algo
some of my
interesante en
candies
esta
with them
misión.
too.
No por otra cosa.
Certainly. You can also tell my friend in Yenshang Tea House about what they're up to. I'm sure my friend would also like to say hi to them.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. Well then, fare thee well, Master Dugu.
Ah,
Till we meet again.
¿por qué se va? ¿No estaba recogiendo piedras o algo
Any
en
of that
el sitio
sound
este?
strange to you?
Sí, mucho.
What was strange about it?
Paimon, tú no tienes derecho a pensar.
G.E. seems to have a great reputation. Uncle Soon and Uncle Gao spoke highly of
Sí,
him.
sí, sí, así lo dice.
Shuo seems to like him too.
Parece.
True. But the issue is, where did his sudden celebrity come from? It almost seems too good to be true.
Sudden? Too good to be true? What do you mean?
3 meses
So he
justamente
returns
cuando
cruelty
empezaron
with
las elecciones.
kindness and had to work to support his studies. These are the kinds of things that make someone well known in their hometown. But Uncle Soon said even his friends who travel far and wide hear about him wherever they go. That's a little over the top, if you ask me. Do you remember what Dugu Shuo said about Jur-E's stories? Clearly they left him with a good impression of the guy. But beyond that, he wasn't interested in the details. That's the reaction I would expect from any normal person.
Nadie se pondría a
Plus,
cuestionar
there's
los
the fact that
vacíos,
all
¿verdad?
this praise of Jur-E has only been happening within the last 2 or 3 months. His childhood, his studies, the thing with his neighbor. None of these are recent events. So why are these stories only going around now?
When you put it like that, it is kinda strange.
Of course, if that's all there was to it, I wouldn't look into it any further. Jur-E was born into a poor family. Paying people to get his stories out there is within the rules of the game as far as I'm concerned. The problem is, do you remember what Uncle Gao said about him? He's stayed poor his whole life. Everything he's earned he's either spent on studying, traveling, or paying off debts. I don't think he has the mora to pay for a publicity campaign.
Alguien lo está ayudando. Espero que no sea el tío Tien o lo que sea, sean los Fatui o algo así, porque si no...
Right. And that changes everything. It could mean a powerful faction is trying to gain influence over the Liu at Xixing. That's the worst
Porque
case
quiero que
scenario.
Nimbo gane.
But
No
all
por otra
too
cosa.
often, the most pessimistic speculation turns out to be closest to the
Ay.
truth.
Vaya misión más aburrida, por cierto.
That sounds serious. What should we do?
Me hacía ilusión hacer esta misión después de tanta cosa.
There's no way he'd admit it.
First, we need to find out who's supporting him. Don't worry, I've got a plan. Remember the current affairs and planning stage of the assessment? Since the successful candidate is duty-bound to implement their plan after taking office, their manifesto tells us their stance on key issues. Whoever is secretly helping Jur-E must be seeking to benefit from his actions after his appointment. So, we should be able to find some hints in Jur-E's manifesto on who we're dealing with. Come on, let's get back to Yenshang Tea House.
Venga. A ver, que se me ocurre que fuese el tío Tien este, el que está ayudándole. El problema es que eso sería demasiado favoritismo y ya ha dicho que no iba a involucrarse en esto. Ya está bastante involucrado con el hecho de, bueno, de que sean sus estudiantes o lo que sea, ¿no? Ay, pero bueno. No sé. Igual no.
Jur-E's manifesto covers a huge range of topics. Looking for details that don't add up will be like trying to find a needle in a haystack. I'll divide the reports into 2 piles. You take one, I'll take the other. When we're finished, we'll put our heads together.
Vale, de forma aleatoria.
Officially, the assessment is already over, and I'll be expected to announce the results before long. So we have to get to the bottom of this as quickly as we can.
¡Qué divertido! Vamos a leer cosas de un señor que
Whatever
no me
else
importa
Uncle
una
Tien
mierda.
might think of Jur-E, the fact remains that he's one of his favorite students. Any evidence he's left is not going to be immediately obvious. We'll have to look carefully and think critically.
Vale. Lo de aquí.
Even though Yelan took half, this is still a lot to get through. Well, we gotta start somewhere.
Por la primera página. Asuntos marítimos, asuntos mineros, asuntos viales. Vende pescado, así que supongo que tiene algunos asuntos mineros, no tiene nada que ver con nada de lo que haya hecho. Asuntos viales, no tengo ni puñetera idea de qué se refiere con asuntos viales, porque a viales es de vuelo, así que vamos a por eso. El terreno escabroso alrededor del bosque de piedra... Vale, no me deja... No, joder, ahí. Los picos escarpados de una montaña conectados con... Es peligroso caminar por allí y definitivamente no son ideales para el transporte de bienes, ¿vale? Estas áreas son ricas en hierba medicinal y depósitos de minerales. Construir una red de caminos alrededor de las montañas sería enormemente beneficioso y también bastante caro. Una descripción breve y concisa de la construcción de caminos y puentes, ¿vale? Ah, viales, perdón, no. A viales estaba pensando. A viales es de vuelo. Viales es de vías, perdón, de carreteras. Perdón. Cerebro ha desconectado, pero por completo, ¿eh? No me hagáis caso, es lo que digo. Hay mucha leyenda popular que cuenta que Rex Lapis dejó una gran riqueza en las montañas de Yue. Sin embargo, debido a varios obstáculos en la cima, muchos proyectos han sido suspendidos. Los trabajadores de la Forja del Peñasco Oscuro han estado ociosos cerca de la Casa Dorada por mucho tiempo. Deben de ser los primeros en ser movilizados en caso de que haya nuevos proyectos. Vale. Forja del Peñasco Oscuro ya está en el punto de mira. Una descripción breve de las minas y túneles. Vale, venga. Asunto marítimo. Debido a diversos factores, las tormentas se han intensificado en estos últimos años. Sugiere implementar patrullas especiales para combatir a los monstruos marinos. La flota debe integrarse de la siguiente manera. Defensa marítima. No parece interesante. Lo único que he sacado bien claro es lo de... Dejad de leer. Es lo de... el peñasco oscuro. Paso lo de Paimon, es que no dice nada nunca.
Looks like I'm the first one back, as usual.
El otro igual se toma mejor su trabajo. Más en serio. O algo, no sé. ¿Por qué anda así?
If you're back, that means you finished investigating Tianwei, right?
You betcha. I visited all the commerce guilds and gathered a wealth of information. Every time they asked me to leave, but I always had another trick up my sleeve.
Don't drag this out. Just tell us your findings.
Yes, Lady Yelan. To summarize my findings, most people who've had interactions with Tianwei will start out complaining about how proud and arrogant he is, but then go on to give a generally positive appraisal of him. The young master of the Feiyun Commerce Guild said that Tianwei appears arrogant, but he's very scrupulous in the way he works. Once he signs a contract with somebody, he treats them fairly, regardless of their background.
No, lo que le importa son las ganancias, así que no es raro. ¿Quién lo diría? La verdad es que no
Is
es
it
nada
possible
raro.
that his reputation is fake? Is there any way you can check the accounts of the businesses under his name?
In theory, that should be very difficult. But here's the thing. I asked around and found out that almost all of Tianwei's accounts are open to the public. Where he buys from and sells to should be confidential business information, but he doesn't seem interested in protecting it at all. Tianwei often sees business opportunities that others don't, but once he's made enough mora off of it, it's like he gets sick of it and releases all of his trade secrets.
Oh, qué chuli.
It's like he wants people to know that they still can't beat him, even if he shares all of his secrets. The fact that someone like that can still make mora is pretty infuriating when you think about it.
What a strange guy. It's like he's not doing business to make mora, but instead...
Por ego.
To validate his theories. No wonder his manifesto contains so many insights. It's all the result of his first-hand experimentation.
I'm back! Huh? How come you're here?
Why do you think? Obviously, because I possess superior skills and am always one step ahead of the competition. Well, when you're the competition, at least.
Oh.
Whatever.
Se llevan mal.
I'm not getting into an argument with you. If I hadn't had something else to take care of on the way, I would have been back long before you. Lady Yelan, I have finished investigating Minghua.
Well, we're all ears.
The Ministry of Civil Affairs says that Minghua struggles to get his words out when he gets nervous, especially when he's chatting with strangers. But after a few days of getting to know him, you can pretty much have a normal conversation with him. On the whole, the feedback from the Ministry of Civil Affairs was very positive. He always considers the things that everyone else overlooks.
In your opinion, was the Ministry of Civil Affairs' appraisal of Minghua at all exaggerated?
I don't believe so.
Ay,
Mingguo
vamos
is
ahí,
someone who
Bimbo.
has slowly but surely earned the reputation he has today. According to Miss Yu, the Ministry often gets Mingguo to take a final look at projects before they're implemented. People feel much more confident in something if it has his stamp of approval.
Bien, bien, bien,
Oh,
bien.
and
Bimbo
also,
for
there
president.
was once someone in the Ministry who was lying and cheating to try to advance their career. Mingguo gave them the scolding of a lifetime. Apparently, he can be terrifying when he loses his temper. I haven't seen it for myself, though.
Whoa, that's hard to imagine.
No, la verdad es que es bastante
Like I
normal,
said
suele
before,
pasar, ¿eh?
things are not always as they appear.
Todo esto es bueno.
So that's what you meant by that.
Mimbo mola.
Starting to get
Mimbo for president. Yo voto
Thank you
por
both.
Mimbo. Espero que me
You're
dejen
free to go
votar.
now.
Como me importa una mierda quien gane, puedo decir con toda la seriedad del mundo que quiero que gane Mimbo.
Have you finished reading the manifesto?
Sí, todo guay.
Still have a bit left.
No, está bien, está bien. Terminar de leer junto con él, venga. Ay.
I can't see any immediate problems looking at the individual entries. The only one that strikes me as a little unusual is the Cheongshu Pool redevelopment plan.
¿Qué es eso?
Cheongshu Pool has always been home to many secrets. Plus, Ajdaha once wrought havoc there, so there are even more secrets buried deep underground. At some point, a rumor began to go around that there is great treasure buried beneath Cheongshu Pool. A long time ago, with the approval of the Qixing, a mining team conducted an exploratory excavation there.
Oh, estos
So, did they
son
find any treasure?
los de la misión de Zombie, los que se perdieron los
None.
mineros, ¿no?
The ruin was completely impenetrable. The only way they could have gotten through the solid rock would have been by blowing it open with a special kind of explosive. The technology wasn't mature enough at that time, so the excavation project was shut down and the treasure became a mere legend. Jur-E's manifesto focuses on solving problems, and this treasure hunt seems extremely risky. It seems out of step with the rest of his plans. Still, this one fact alone doesn't tell us much. Everyone wants to get their hands on this treasure. The treasure hoarders, the Fatui, even local Liyue factions. Did you find anything?
La minería era rara. La minería.
Project
Forja de
treasure?
Peñasco Oscuro.
Yeah. Juri said the Blackcliff Forge workers should get right of first refusal if any suitable projects come up.
Did
Ahí
he
está.
now? Well, that makes everything much clearer. So Jur-E wants the Blackcliff Forge to excavate the treasure of Cheongshu Pool.
Does that mean the Blackcliff Forge is Juri's secret supporter?
Puede que simplemente les caiga bien
No,
o piense que son
not
mejores, ¿no?
likely. I've looked into the Blackcliff Forge before.
No
They
tiene por
aren't
qué
involved
ser
with any powerful
pagándoles y ya.
factions at present. They do possess some specialized explosives, but it would seem more trouble than it's worth to put so many resources into a risky project like this. Still, since the clues are pointing toward the Blackcliff Forge, we should see where they lead. We may well find something new.
Ay.
Shenwei and Mingbo both turned out to be completely different than what we thought. What about Juri? Is there another side to him too?
Vale. Ay. Voy a teletransportarme a la cámara de Jade mejor y me tiro desde el pico de la cámara de Jade. Vale. Esta misión está siendo un pedazo de ñordo como un villano de grande. O sea... He visto cagadas de elefante más interesantes que esta misión. Lo cual es curioso. A ver si ahora empieza a ponerse interesante. Venga,
Let's look around for clues.
a ver qué tal. Busca pista. Hola, buena.
So, anything strange been going on
Hay algo aquí.
recently?
Hay algo aquí.
Excuse me? What's that supposed to mean? Strange how?
Just, stuff that when it happens, you think to yourself, huh, that was weird.
Huh?
Buena forma de intentar empezar una
I don't
conversación.
think we're going to get anywhere asking questions like that. Let's just take a look around.
Tenía que haber mirado primero cosas y luego hablar con él. Vale. Hoy tampoco sucedió nada, o tampoco sucedió nada. Día de pago, vinieron 3 nuevos reclutas. No esperaba que viniera hasta aquí en tiempos como estos. Uno de los nuevos es muy hábil. Fue ascendido a líder de grupo. Hoy tampoco sucedió nada. Vale, por Dios.
What's this? A diary?
¿Pero de quién?
From the back, it looks like a ledger, but it seems they also use it as a site log. We don't know who wrote it, but it's interesting, don't you think? These newcomers, who could have sent them?
You think they're suspicious?
Yes. Look, it says right there, one of them's already been promoted to team leader. At this rate, by the time the Qingshu Pool redevelopment plan is ready to roll, they'll be the technical backbone of the team. That'll give them the chance to take a lot of liberties. They can copy any secret texts or steal any treasure they find underground. Imagine if we didn't suspect anything. By the time Jur-E recommends the Blackcliff Forge for the excavation project, at most we would maybe do a fresh background check on the place. No red flags.
Van a ser Fatui. Espero que sean Fatui.
And even if we decided to vet the staff individually, they'd have had more than enough time by then to come up with fake identities. That's the advantage of planning this far in advance. It was a clever move.
When you put it like that, it all makes sense. If we hadn't found this out, someone else would have stolen the treasure.
¿Y qué problema hubiera sido ese? O sea, sí,
Who's really behind all this?
es lo mismo, ¿no? Quiero decir.
That's a question for the newcomers. But let's start with that
No, claro,
worker
tiene que
over
ser
there
para
for now.
para el gobierno, ¿no? El tesoro tiene que ser para el gobierno. Venga. Vale, ya tenemos el libro de cuentas. Ahora sí podemos preguntarle. Ay, qué ñordazo de misión.
We want to ask you about the newcomers.
Ay.
You want them to teach you or something? I gotta say, these newcomers are in tip-top shape.
Parece que le cabrea ver que están en tan buena forma. Me da que son Fatui.
My only complaint is that they're always going out drinking at night, but they never let us join them. I guess they just need some time to adjust. I'm sure we'll get to know each other over time.
Bueno.
They go out drinking. This area isn't exactly renowned for the nightlife. I'm guessing it's a long trip to the nearest tavern.
You got that right. They tell me they go all the way back to Liyue Harbor to drink at Wanmin Restaurant. It rained after work today, so they actually stuck around at the site for a while. But as soon as the rain stopped, they went out drinking again right away.
A ver, no se pueden dejar las costumbres. Eso es el problema, ¿eh?
I say, if they can hack it, let them at it.
Ah, pues no está cabreado.
Let's go talk somewhere else.
Pensaba que iba a estar cabreado. Bueno, parece que se lo toma bien. No parece que impida su trabajo, ¿no? No van a beber, pero bueno, sí.
Some cover story. I'll wager they've been going to intelligence updates. Good thing it rained today. It means they'll leave footprints. I doubt they'd give themselves away that easily, but let's follow them and try our luck.
Tengo la sensación de que vamos a tener suerte encontrando algo al final de estas huellas. Venga. Ay, es que literalmente no creo que haya pasado absolutamente nada. No sé nada todavía de Yelan, por cierto. ¿Rápido por qué? ¿Rápido por qué? A ver, que alguien me lo explique. ¿Rápido por qué? Igual estas huellas llevan aquí 5 horas o yo qué sé. Porque vamos ahí. Voy a decir 5 días, efectivamente. Igual llevan aquí 5 horas y no ha venido nadie en todo este rato. Más que nosotros. No, puede que vayan a Liyue. Pero intercambiar información.
They didn't go to Liyue Harbor. They went that way.
That way. Puede ser un rodeo hasta Liyue para luego ir planeando. Para allá. Qué bien que ahora en las huellas pongan una flechita pequeñita, ¿eh?
Stop here. But, judging from the direction, I'm guessing their destination was that abandoned house.
Igual son ladrones de tesoro. Investiga la casa abandonada. 0 de 4. Aquí era esto de una pelea, pero es difícil confirmarlo. Parece ser obra de un profesional, pero ¿de quién? Estas marcas en el barro seguramente son de una estera de bambú. No se ve ninguna estera por ningún lado. Asco de una fogata. Quemaron algo aquí hace poco. Vale. A ver si veo el último brilli brilli. Vale, creo que está allí detrás, el último brilli brilli. Encuentras un hueso de fruta fresco en la pila de hojas. Parece que alguien estuvo aquí recientemente, pero no hay más pistas. Qué útil todo.
Looks like we were too late. This has gotta be where the newcomers rendezvous with whoever they're working for. But all the evidence has been destroyed. Look at these ashes. Someone was burning documents not long before we arrived.
Sabe que son documentos.
Could there be anything left?
Solo veo palos, pero bueno.
Maybe the wind could have blown the fire out before everything was finished burning.
The odds of that are very slim. It's practically impossible. I've checked. All the paper's been burned. There's only ash left now.
Why don't we wait for them back at the Black Cliff Forge? They've got to go back there sooner or later.
We can't count on that. Clearly they were based here at one point, but it's mysteriously abandoned now. To me, that says that whoever's behind this has moved them somewhere else, to throw our investigation off course.
O sea que ya saben que estamos tras ellos, ¿no? Como mínimo.
Make no mistake, the purpose of our trip wasn't to find any solid evidence. We just need to figure out who's behind Jur-E. I smelled something peculiar the moment
A ver, podemos simplemente esperar a que vengan los...
Those newcomers probably thought they'd be safe as long as they burned the letters. But what they failed to consider is that paper and ink from different regions produce different odors when they're burned.
En serio, ese va a ser el... En fin.
Violet can't smell anything. Do you smell anything?
No, tiene un aroma muy tenue. Esa va a ser la justificación. Oh, wow, esta tinta está hecha en Sumeru, Liyue o no sé
There
dónde.
is a certain place with a freezing cold climate where there's nothing but
Ay,
ice
ahí
as
están
far
los
as the eye
fatui.
can see. Some wealthy people there put floral fragrance in their ink as a way of injecting a little romance into their writing. When that fragrant ink is burned, this is the exact odor that it leaves behind.
Los
Exactly.
fatui. Oh,
The
no.
evidence will soon be blown away by the wind, so it's nothing we can arrest anyone with. But it's all I need. Now I know who we're dealing with. I can plan our next move.
Lady Yelan! Oh, thank goodness I finally found you. I thought I'd never see you again.
Este es el del que estaba en el barco. El otro. El Wan no sé qué.
Don't be alarmed. This is
Unpei.
Upei. He's Wenyuan and Shanghua's colleague. I sent him to look into Jur-E's regular contacts. Since Jur-E likes fishing, Upei thought he might know some of the fishermen and sailors, so he took a boat out to sea to ask around. I left him a note at Yenshang Tea House telling him to look for me at Black Cliff Forge when he got back. If there'd been an ambush waiting for us there, it means we'd have had some backup.
Ay, va a necesitar respaldo. Bueno, vamos a necesitar respaldo.
find out,
Nosotros,
see?
en fin.
Forgive my incompetence. I'm afraid I've come up empty-handed. I
Vaya,
asked
vaya.
all the fishermen multiple times, but none of them had any interactions with Jur-E before. Then the waves got so choppy I ended up falling overboard. Fortunately, someone managed to drag me out. When I got back, I heard that you'd gone to Black Cliff Forge and might need backup, so I went straight there as fast as I could. Didn't even stop to change my clothes.
Well, Uncle Tien said that Jur-E once bought a recipe from one of the fishermen. Did you hear anything about that at all?
What? That's news to me. No, that's not possible. It's absolutely not possible. Lady Yelan, I'm telling you, I spoke to every single fisherman out there, and none of them mentioned anything about a recipe.
Interesting. Then I wonder how that even more wonderful fish soup came about.
¡Los fatui! Ay, señor. Ya tenemos la respuesta.
Fish soup? What fish soup?
Nothing. Our priority right now is to find a way to get our hands on some solid evidence.
Pero ¿por qué no simplemente
Well,
esperamos que vengan
any
los nuevos
suggestions?
candidatos estos? Tienen que seguir trabajando aquí en el caso de que quieran llevarse el super tesoro, ¿no? Esperamos a que se reúnan, sí, ya está.
Not a bad idea.
Ya está. Esperamos que se
Okay.
reúnan. Es que de
What do
verdad no
you
sé por
think?
qué tanta duda.
Honestly, I've already tried following Jur-E, but the guy's too cautious. Never meets with anyone suspicious.
Okay, so tailing's out.
No, we'll still need to tail him. But first, we need to do some groundwork.
Groundwork?
When you've worked in intelligence for a long time, you'll understand that no one can stay on high alert forever. especially when he thinks he's about to win. Tomorrow morning, I'll announce his victory at Yohai Pavilion. Take a guess what you think he'll do next.
¿Ir allí?
Be sure to arrive on time. You won't want to miss the show.
Vale, pero que lo anuncie no implica que vaya, o sea, que vaya a darle el puesto, ¿no? Porque sería un poco putada que ganase por el simple hecho de que quiera tender una trampa. Ay, mierda, se me ha olvidado el número en el momento en el que lo he leído. 9 a 11, vale, 9 a 11. Tucutú. Quiero que sea a las 9 casi exacto para poder teletransportarme y moverme al sitio y tal, porque no va a ser exactamente aquí. O sea, tenemos que irnos. Ay. No sé qué mierda se está ocurriendo con esta misión. Normalmente las misiones, ¿vale? Cierto que no es la norma, ¿vale? Pero normalmente las misiones tratan de centrarse en el personaje de esa misión. Y aquí no estoy conociendo a Yelan, no estoy viendo a Yelan, no estoy viendo el pasado de Yelan, no estoy viendo sus intenciones, solo veo su forma de trabajar. Y sinceramente no tanto, porque es que es una forma bastante genérica de trabajar, en general. Que tiene espías, tiene a 3 niñatos ahí con cosas, haciendo cosas de ninja. Pues no sé.
Well then, time for me to announce the results of the assessment process.
Venga.
I won't drone on about the importance of the Tianshu role. Suffice to say that Uncle Tien entrusted me with the monumentally important task of assessing the candidates. And now, it falls to me to give him a satisfactory answer.
All of us here know the score. Don't beat around the bush, just get on with it.
Qianwei has many pioneering ideas, but some of his plans are lacking in detail, and he easily gets into testy exchanges with other people. Mingbo is reliable, but not quite ambitious enough, and because of his personality, he struggles to win people over. In contrast, Zhi is evenly balanced across the board, and enjoys an excellent reputation in Liyue. After much consideration, I have decided to recommend Zhi to the Liyue Qixing.
Oh no, Mimbo, colega. Te invito a una copa o algo.
What?
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. Honestly, I'm a little surprised to hear my name being announced. In my estimation, all 3 of us are worthy candidates for the Tianshu position. As your competitor, I've become keenly aware of your great talents. Would either of you entertain the possibility of working with me in the future and taking on some of my workload?
I'll have to see. I'm in a bad mood. This is the last thing I want to be thinking about right now.
I don't mind, as long as I can help.
Okay, well,
Mimbo,
that's all
puto
from me.
amo. Mimbo for
Zhi,
president.
you'll have some preparation to do. It won't be long before you're informed of your official appointment. I hope you will work hard and make Uncle Tien proud.
I will live up to the Tianshu name. On this, you have my word. I should go. I need to pack my things, and then I think a celebratory meal is in order. Would anyone like to join me?
Count me out. I'm not in the mood for a celebration.
Oh, se ha puesto triste porque ha perdido.
Relax now. This would be a good time to follow him.
Hey, traveler, tell me something. What exactly does that guy have that I don't? If you can't answer that, I'm not accepting this result.
Sí, el otro le está haciendo a Gris.
Also wouldn't mind knowing.
Oh no, if we get stuck here, we won't be able to leave.
No, da igual, si Yelan va.
Yes, ma'am.
Venga.
We
Oh,
finally got rid of them.
Mimbo se ha tenido que ir súper triste.
Lady Yelan, Jury has gone towards Feiyun Slope.
Directamente.
Quickly.
Porque viene a informarnos de ello. Vamos. Todos juntitos.
So Jerry really sided with the Fatui?
What? ¿Por qué me manda hacia aquí? ¿No era hacia las hacia el peñasco? Bueno, en fin, da igual. Vamos primero aquí y luego el otro.
But Uncle Tien thinks so highly of him. Why would he
Difficult to say, but everything should become a lot clearer when...
Venga.
I'm sorry, Lady Yelan.
Lo perdimos. Pues
Lost
me iba
him.
para la pendiente.
He's too good at this. We weren't able to keep following him without being seen.
How the heck did he manage to shake Yelan's subordinates? I guess Juri didn't let his guard down. Still as vigilant as ever.
No, Upe says he's much more relaxed than usual. Maybe it's just how he's wired. Perceptive enough to sense when he's being watched.
How?
No
Don't
sé.
blame yourselves.
Así funciona alguna
Let's not
gente,
forget he
supongo.
was
No
trained
sé.
by
¿Qué
Uncle
más da?
Tian
Si no es
himself.
importante.
Evading
Estamos
detection
rellenando
is
tiempo
not
ahora
an
mismo,
unusual
básicamente.
skill for him to have. If I'd asked you to tail Uncle Tian, you'd have ended up at a dead end too. It's fine. So, where did you lose him?
Shinue kiosk. He only went in briefly. Upe and I were watching outside the whole time. A few moments later, a man dressed in a completely different outfit came out. Upe had a feeling that it was him, but we couldn't get close enough to check without blowing our cover.
Ahora sabe disfrazarse
Figured that
también.
if we
Joder,
spooked
¿no?
him, it would undo what we've accomplished today so far. Another option would have been to arrest him there and then, but without any evidence, that would have been meaningless. So I stopped Upe, and I stayed here to wait for you while that meathead went to ask around in Shinue kiosk.
Good work. The fish didn't take the bait, but that's okay. As long as he's still swimming around, we'll find a way to catch him eventually. The key is figuring out what he's trying to achieve. Let's go to Shinue kiosk.
Venga. Ay, señor. Dios mío, es que estoy por pedir dislikes en este vídeo solo para que podáis expresar vosotros lo aburrido que está siendo.
Could you explain to me how that
Dios
works?
mío.
A guy like him comes in, changes his whole outfit right under your nose, and you don't even ask him about it?
Our customers are free to dress however they please. What grounds would I have to question him?
Vale, pues sí,
Okay,
sí,
fair
era él,
enough,
vale.
but
Bueno, ya
didn't
sabemos
you think it was just
que se
a
disfraza
little
como
bit
mínimo, ¿no?
strange?
Well, maybe I did, but it still doesn't give me the right to stop him.
No stop, no de detenerlo, simplemente preguntarle.
Enough. Let's tone this down a little. I'll make this quick. Just one question. What did he buy while he was here?
Compró.
Oh, he didn't buy anything. He just picked up a bottle of liquor that he ordered ages ago.
Estaba esperando ya... Estaba esperando ya que le
Yes,
dijesen
a
que
very
sí
strong
para...
kind. Fiery, with a rich flavor. Not something the average customer would order. This gentleman ordered it in person from us a long time ago. He was only here today to pick it up.
Liquor.
Hace 3 meses, justamente.
Wineware. I see. Let's go.
Where to?
No, igual va a brindar
Shibu
con el tío.
Antiques.
Tiene la antigüedad. Igual va a brindar con el tío Tien, como se llame, ¿no? No. A ver, podría ser. Ah, justo delante. Ha dicho que le iba a regalar a un viejo amigo suyo un juego de esto.
Hey, Miss Linlong. Sorry to bother you. Jur-E ordered a wanware set from you not long ago, right? We're friends of his. He's been telling us how impressed he is with the quality, considering how affordable it was. So we just had to come and take a look for ourselves.
Sure. Which model are you looking for?
Dios mío, la voz es peor que la de Paimon. Perdón, es que antes se la escuchaba un poco lejos y ahora...
We don't really
Perdón.
know a whole lot about wineware. Let's just go with Jur-E's choice. Would you be able to show us the one he bought?
Jur-E picked up his set not long ago. As a quality imitation of an antique wineware set, it has the look and feel of a luxury item. Just so you're aware, we don't have many of this model left in stock. And now that Mr. Jur-E has taken one, I'm afraid it may encourage the price to go up a little.
Oh, no.
Don't worry, price shouldn't be an issue. I'm sure we can work something out. But I'm just a little hazy on one thing. Did Jur-E's wineware set include wine glasses, or...?
For this set, the wine glasses are sold separately. Minimum purchase is 1 glass, maximum is 4. Mr. Jur-E bought 2.
Okay. Thanks, Linlong. Seems there's a little more to buying wineware than I first thought. We'll have to mull it over.
Venga.
Well, don't take too long.
Ha comprado 2, así que igual se va de verdad a celebrarlo con el tío Tien, ¿no?
See you next time.
Mola porque es que ha dicho que iba a empaquetar sus cosas para mudarse o lo que sea.
This is turning into a real headache.
I'd just like to point out that we have the self-professed Grand Master of Fieldwork here to thank for being wholly incapable of tailing an ordinary civilian without being seen.
It's not like you did any better.
My specialty is information trading, okay? I don't have the physical agility. What's your excuse?
Fair point.
Yelan, so has the plan failed?
Sí,
Oh,
ha fallado.
can't figure out where Jerry
Ay,
is.
Dios mío, que acabe ya.
Not much we can do. But why was he buying liquor at Shinue Kiosk anyway? To celebrate?
If so, it's no ordinary celebration.
What do you mean?
¿Qué pasa?
First of all, Jur-E isn't much of a drinker. On some level, he hates alcohol because of what it did to his father. If
Pero...
he was just looking to celebrate by himself, he wouldn't spend his meager savings on an expensive bottle of alcohol, let alone buy a pair of special wine glasses. No, this is a victory feast, held in honor of Jur-E's private sponsor. Whoever this person is clearly enjoys hard liquor and has a very high status, hence the need for expensive-looking wineware. Now, where might we find Fatui who match that description, I wonder?
En todos lados, supongo.
Officials. Should be either the Snezhnayan Embassy or the Northland Bank.
No, a Child por lo menos no le gusta beber, así que todo guay.
Take as many people as you need.
Lady Yelan, is it time for us to make our move? If so, you can
Pensaba
count
que
me
habían
in.
expulsado a los
Get
Fatui
with
de
the
Liyue
program,
después
would
de la
This is a
operación
covert
aquella.
surveillance
O sea que no
operation.
habría embajada aquí.
Jur-E may be vigilant, but that doesn't mean the same is true for his drinking buddy. In which case, we don't need to change tactics. Just change who we're following.
Great idea! So we just need to find out who Juri bought that liquor for and follow them instead.
Sí, Paimon, lo he entendido desde el
If we
principio.
get caught, this could become a major diplomatic incident.
Llevamos con un problema
well aware.
diplomático bastante largo
Don't
con
you
los
see?
Fatui, no creo que sea un
Jur-E
problema.
is gambling everything on this. If we really want to catch him, we're going to have to accept a little risk ourselves. Stick to your orders, and make sure we're covering all other bases too. Anywhere else Jur-E might be going. I want eyes on those locations.
Yes, ma'am.
Don't worry, Lady Yelan. Jur-E may be a slippery character, but we'll keep a close watch on the movements of all Fatui officials.
I'll be waiting for you at the tea house. If I'm guessing correctly, Fatui officials are likely to take action at night. You should go and get ready. Then meet me at Yenshang Tea House.
Venga. Me imagino que van a recrear la escenita esta que pusieron de tráiler con Yelan de ella interrogando a un Fatui. No me acuerdo qué Fatui era, ¿no? Pero es que me suena al ver la escena aquella. Ay. Y es que no sé muy bien qué decir. Es que hay tanto mal en esta misión que es que no sé por dónde empezar. Aparte de que es larga, ¿vale? Que eso es como lo peor que le puedes hacer a una misión de este tipo. No tiene nada con respecto a lo que me podría interesar, que es el personaje principal. Están hablando de un gilipollas, de un NPC que no me importa una mierda. Ni siquiera es un personaje interesante. Son los mismos Fatui de siempre ahora, de pronto. Bueno, pues venga.
Perfect timing. Wenyuan just sent word that the Fatui ambassador, Yusupov, just left the embassy alone.
¿No deberíamos informar de esto al
He's heading
tío,
in the direction of
Tien?
Qingshu Pool.
Qingshu Pool? That's the place Juri mentioned in his manifesto.
It looks like that's where they've arranged to meet. Sensible choice, I'll give them that. Qingshu Pool is always crawling with monsters. Most people wouldn't dream of going there. It's one place they won't need to worry about being seen.
Oh no, we gotta go get them!
Let's go. If my hunch is correct, we just might hit the jackpot this time.
Venga, a ver si es verdad. Dirígete al estanque. Desde aquí estamos más arriba. Es que justamente en este teletransporte bajas 2 metros y hay Fatui también. Bajas hacia allí, ¿vale? Por ahí hay Fatuis también. En fin. Bueno, hay Fatuis por todos lados, ¿no?
Pool, full of ruins, crawling with monsters. Anyone with any sense steers well clear of this place. I've looked into the place before. There's a workers' entrance somewhere around here. Follow me.
Por aquí. Tengo que bajar. Mira, ahí veo gente. Ah, bueno, son ladrones. Igual no.
There's been some work done on this place in the past, but it's a bit of a labyrinth inside. I can't guarantee we'll be safe once we're underground.
Vamos a dominio, ¿no? Venga, vamos al dominio.
Left an emergency access route. If we can find it, this will be a much easier journey. Still, be ready to fight at any moment. Any resistance needs to be taken out quickly and quietly. We don't want to attract too much attention.
Don't worry, we're all professionals here.
Súper profesionales.
By the way, Yelan, where are your 3 little helpers at?
Siguiendo a los
They have
Fatú,
other
¿no?
things to take care of first. We couldn't afford to wait for them, but they'll join us later.
Oh. Venga, dominio. Ahí está. Piden geo. Geo y agua. Bueno, agua me lo darán. Agua me lo van a dar. Estoy casi convencido de que me van a dejar usar a Yelan. Casi convencido. Parte importante del casi, ¿vale? Pero es que es muy raro que después de toda esta misión de mierda no me dejen usarla. Ahí está. Perfecto. Uy, no quería hacer esto. Ay, que puedo cancelar el roto con un dash. No lo sabía, sinceramente. A ver. Vale.
Quietly now.
Vale.
Busted.
Ahí. Que estoy haciendo mucho ruido con el teclado, perdón. Ahí está.
Lightning flash.
Ay, bueno, verdad. Dura. Sí, el primer ataque de Yelan lo carga de forma instantánea, así que viene muy bien. Ahí está. Aparte, tiene un puñetero huevo de AO, ¿eh? Ah, ¿es el segundo ataque de Yelan el que...?
As I expected, but this shouldn't be too much trouble.
Quiero comprobarlo. Igual es que tiene constelaciones, ¿eh? Tiene constelaciones, vale. Ataque coordinado, lanzar una flecha hidro. No. No, es que esto creo que tiene un talento, ¿verdad? Que el primer golpe... O lo que sea, el primer golpe esto... Mira. Irrupción se llama. Cuando el equipo está 5 segundos fuera de combate, Yelan entra en estado de irrupción y básicamente hace el ataque cargado como súper rapidísimo. Pensaba que habría constelación para que fuese todo el rato irrigada o lo como se llame. Pero se ve que no. No, esto es intrincado, no tiene nada que ver. Bueno. No sé, me ha parecido que he cargado muy rápido el ataque cargado la segunda vez. ¿Quién coño es este? Este es como se ha disfrazado después de eso. Ah, bueno, también, vale. Vaya sitio de mierda para encontrarse con alguien, por cierto. Venga. Vienen hasta aquí para beber una botella de licor. Bueno, supongo que eso es mucho... ¿Cómo se llama? Mucho secretismo. Hay algo ahí, debería mirar, ¿no? No sé si... Vale, lo he hecho al revés, pero bueno, no pasa nada. Creo que les afecta el fuego, ¿vale? Vale. Creo que les afecta el fuego, así que vamos a intentar hacer así. No parece que pueda hacerle vapor, o por lo menos me cuesta mucho. Es porque lo mojo justo cuando lo cojo. No lo veo. Da igual. Cofrecito. Take it easy. No, por lo menos no se me apaga la lucecilla esta. Que ya sería gracioso también. Vale. Quiero mirar qué es lo que hay abajo, porque había visto una lucecita. Sí, parece. Vamos para allá. Pero antes, quiero ver qué hay aquí en la puerta. A ver.
This is the construction workers' emergency access route, but it's closed tight.
¿Por qué tiene tanta información sobre esto?
Trying to break through would be risky. Let's see if we can find another way.
No sé por qué hay un pit aquí. Bueno. Sería para el agua, supongo. Con tranquilidad, no tengo prisa, ¿no? Después de la misión de 1 hora y 40 minutos creo que son. No, el segundo disparo es igual de lento que el resto. Vale. ¡Qué guay! Esto es como el dash de Mona. Súper chulo. Se queda atascado con cualquier esquina. Súper guay. ¿Habéis visto cómo mola? No, no rompe esto. Venga. Mueve, mueve. Quiero coger... No se puede mover desde este lado. Vale, voy a intentar abrir esta mejor.
Really? Quietly now. Things are about to get dicey.
Vale, todo perfecto. Necesito esta para acá. Esta para acá. Mi cofrecito. Esto es lo que llevo buscando todo este rato, ¿vale? Parece ser que no pierdo la esta. O por lo menos aún no ha pasado suficiente tiempo. Mío. ¿qué he visto? Empujar. No se abre de este lado tampoco, ¿verdad? Esta roca obstruye la vía. Vale, ahora creo que sí. Perfecto. ¿He vuelto hacia atrás? No, sí, he vuelto hacia atrás. Es donde tenía que venir, así que todo guay. Vale. Y vale. ¡Ey! Geo y agua es lo que me está queriendo decir esto.
The water's flowed into the groove, and now the statues have lit up. Okay, now we should be able to move the statues.
Vale, creo que ya lo pillo. Este para acá. Esto vamos a sacarlo de aquí. Tengo que ponerlos en la luz, ¿no? Vale. Necesito... Creo que voy a necesitar sacar... Perdón. Así, creo que voy a necesitar sacar de aquí, de ahí, esta, durante un momento. Y a meter aquí una azul. Pero bueno, voy a por ahora meter esto... ¿Puedo empujarlo para allá? No puedo empujarlo para allá. Estas están donde pueden estar. Vale. Vamos a meter esta hacia aquí. Esta hacia aquí. Y con esto ya estaría. Ahí está. Perfecto. No era nada complicado. Lo único es que hay que ponerse a mirarlo, supongo. Imagina que hay solsetias ahí, ¿no? O sea, es importante romperlo. Vale.
Gotcha. Quietly now.
Vale.
I'm going in.
I will have order.
Tiene toda la pinta de que Yelan es una buena adición a mi equipo con Diluc, pero... ¿Sabéis, no? Es que... No quiero tirar por ella. Ahí está. O sea, es que creo que va a hacer más daño Yelan que Diluc en este caso. Vale. Ups. Ahí estaba, lo he visto el gorrito. Y Yusupov suena bastante a Fatui. No, es Nesnayano, perdón. Claro, por si acaso está envenenado.
went down the wrong way. I've never drunk anything this strong before. It'll take me some getting used to.
You'll get there. If you want to stay friends with us, you have to drink with us.
I'll do my best.
No tienen por qué beberte esto concretamente, ¿no?
Already struggling after one glass? I thought you were made of sterner stuff. You certainly kept it together when you were poisoning your teacher's soup.
¿Qué? Oh.
Come on, another round. Less talking, more drinking.
Eso es nueva información.
You didn't leave me much of a choice, though, did you? Just the mention of poisoning sends shivers down my spine. I'm more timid than you realize. Every time I poisoned him, I had to hide away at home for a few days because I was so scared of getting caught.
Look, I know it has not been easy for you, my friend. We appreciate all your hard work. But I have to say, you really are quite a genius at poisoning people.
Está contento de... Uy, perdón, que tengo el ratón en medio.
Is as strong as this wine, but you found a way to turn it into an imperceptible, slow-acting poison, and came up with the idea of delivering it through fish soup. What was it you said? Oh, yeah. You said the soup's fishy flavor neutralizes the pungency of the poison, and this process even makes the soup tastier.
Menos mal que están contando su plan entre ellos, ¿eh?
How did you think of that?
It struck me one day when I was fishing. I'm lucky it did. Otherwise, I'm not sure I would have been able to fool Uncle Tien.
You have performed excellently. The Fatui will continue to provide the support you need to consolidate your position as Tien Shu. Of course, this is as long as you continue to do as we instruct. Aside from Qingshu Pool, we also have some other requests for you, which we will inform you of in due course.
Don't worry. Whatever tasks you have for me, I will perform them diligently.
Did you hear that? It was poison. That's why Uncle Tien hasn't been feeling well recently.
Bueno, perfecto.
Jury's doing.
Entonces Nambo va a quedarse con el puesto, porque me gusta más Nambo. Nambo.
Hold on. Did you bring a camera? If not, you can use mine. This is quite a scene.
¿Por qué no haces tú la foto? Por cierto, va a hacer ruido el daguerrotipo. Hace bastante puto ruido el daguerrotipo.
Excellent liquor. We've seen no progress on the diplomatic front, and everyone has been eyeing up the treasure of Qingshu Pool. It's been a real headache for me. But soon, everything will be taken care of.
Everything will be
Back on
fine.
a successful mission. Thank you, Juri. I remember when I first saw you. I knew right away that you would make a good partner for us. Hey, do you still remember what I said to you?
How could I forget? You said a lowly commoner like me could never be seen as a serious candidate for the Tianshu, no matter how hard I work. The only way is for you to shine bright in the Tianshu's darkest moment. I think you were absolutely right.
Yes. Under normal circumstances, the gap between you and other people could only ever grow wider over time. Just look at your two competitors. Chen Wei had wealth. Ming Boa had reputation. But you had nothing. You were just another nobody. And that's why I decided to help you. You know, there's an old saying in the Fatui. Give a starving dog a bone, and it'll guard your home for the rest of its life.
Yes. I cannot thank you enough for your generous support.
No está muy contento con eso que acaba de decir, ¿eh?
You know, the best thing about you is that you do as you're told without complaining. Hey, keep up the good work, and I can assure you, you'll never have to worry about
Ha
more
envenenado también
again.
la copa de licor.
Heck, when you're not in the company of the Fatui, you'll be able to throw your weight around as much as you want. How about that?
Uncle Gao said that Jur-E has low self-esteem. Seems he was right. He was worried that whatever advantage he might have now will diminish over time, so the Fatui persuaded him that he should act while he can. Do you have any more film in the camera?
Tengo de sobra. Madre mía, de sobra.
Get ready to
Infinito.
Tonight's grand finale should be coming up any minute now. How well this goes for us depends on how Jur-E plays his hand.
Ooh, is there any more alcohol? Go on. Fill me up. I'm in a good mood today, and I'm gonna drink my fill. Make sure to get me home safely afterward.
There's only a little left. Here, I'll fill your glass. If you like it, I can bring you some more next time.
Sí que tiene pinta que va a envenenarlo a él también. O sea, no va a eliminar sus otros problemas, ¿no? Pero eso. Ahí está. Envenenado también. Oh, no, no me lo esperaba.
Jur-E, you poisoned my wine? But when?
You seem surprised, Mr. Yusupov.
How could you?
How could I not? I've sacrificed years of my life studying and reflecting to prepare myself for this position. And in the end, I even had to poison my own teacher. You really think I'd put myself through all that just to become your little puppet? I don't want to bow down to anyone ever again. And that includes you.
Oh, no, no me lo esperaba. Porque le cuenta su plan, porque va a morir. Es eso.
It's the Fatui who got you to where you are. Do you understand? If I disappear with no explanation, the embassy will come after you. They'll get to the bottom of this. Mark my words.
Do you see the haystack in the corner? Underneath it is a pile of explosives. And next door in the dark room are the 3 undercover agents you sent to infiltrate the Black Cliff Forge. I'm gonna stay here till I see you slip into unconsciousness. Then I'm gonna set this on fire. Once the flames burn through the hay, they'll ignite the explosives, the ruins will collapse, and everything will be buried.
Bien.
What do you hope to?
I took the liberty of leaving some evidence of your contact with the undercover agents at the Black Cliff Forge. It won't take long for people to join the dots. 2 missing person cases will become 1 as the truth gradually reveals itself. The Fatui planted undercover agents in the Black Cliff Forge to steal their signature ruin-grade explosives. Their plan was to blow through the solid floor tiles in the dead of night and seize the treasure of Qingshu Pool. But things didn't quite go to plan. Mistakes were made that led to the accidental deaths of the entire crew. Faced with the overwhelming evidence, the
Y mientras tanto nosotros ahí en el fondo, la Yelan ahí diciendo,
in fact, they'll be only too happy to blame it all on a rogue operation by you. It explains why you acted alone, while exonerating the rest of the embassy of any liability. Of course, none of that will have anything to do with me. When all of this comes to my attention, I'm afraid I'll have no choice but to cancel the Qingshu Pool redevelopment plan immediately. I guess then, I'll be Tianshu in my own right, with a clean record and well out of the Fatui's reach.
Jur-E, do you really think you're gonna get away with this? The Fatui has a record of everything. That includes the poison, all interactions between us, even my trip here tonight.
Sí, bueno, que estamos nosotros espiando ahí por el fondo.
After I die, they'll come looking, and they'll get to the bottom of this.
A record? Oh, you must mean the one in the hands of your second in command, Theophan.
Esos son los que han quemado ya, ¿no?
How do you know about that?
Because when you contacted me, I also made contact with your associates. I have Theophan to thank for providing me with the poison I used on you today.
Oops.
He'll help me tie up all the loose ends. After all, your untimely demise comes with a few perks for him. He has been eyeing your position for a long time now.
Ay, Dios mío, todo el mundo engañando a otro.
Jur-E, you...
Shh. Relax. It's over. After tonight, everyone gets what they want.
Bien,
And
todo el mundo
anyone
será
else in the
feliz.
know is either my accomplice or
Obvio,
about to be
será
taken out
okay.
of the picture. Sweet dreams, Mr. Yusupov.
Ups. Oh, no. Oh, no. ¿Cuándo ha venido toda esta gente? Los tres estos de Yelan, vale, pero los de la guardia. Y le han escuchado a todos decirlo. Bien. Me quedo yo aquí. ¿En serio me he quedado aquí detrás? En fin. La verdad es que siento bastantes intenciones de darle una E de
I did
Diluc
a little
a la
surveying
pila
on
esa
the
de
way
heno.
here and found that you'd left yourself 3 escape routes in case things went south. I have them all surrounded. If you're thinking of trying anything, save yourself the effort. The game's up. We were here the whole time and have pictures of everything. They came out pretty nicely. Want to see them?
The game's up? Forgive me, I'm not quite sure what you're referring to, Miss Yelan. I happened to discover a Fatui operation here, so I approached them on the pretext of joining forces and eventually brought them down from within. If it pleases you, Miss Yelan, I'd be only too happy to have you join me in investigating this matter.
This is how you want to play it, huh? Fine. You do you. All we need to do to convict you is establish that the poison in his system is the same as in Uncle Tien's.
No van a tardar mucho en hacer eso, sinceramente.
Nothing else you wanted to add? Let's leave it there then. Time to go.
One wrong move and it all comes crashing down.
No, ya está
I should
confesando.
have been more careful. You followed him here, didn't you? I was so focused on keeping myself out of sight, I forgot he was a potential liability. Let's talk about this, Yelan. I gave you my word that I would live up to the Tianshu name, and that much I can still guarantee.
Sigue queriendo salir de esto hablando. Qué guay.
Your point being?
When I take office, I can guarantee that I will act in your best interests. In fact, all of you here tonight can expect very generous treatment in the future.
Ahí,
I
sobornando.
don't deny that I used underhanded methods to get here. But given my lowly origins, what other choice did I have?
You still don't get it, do you? Even now. What do you think?
Ay, ¿qué pensará el tío Tian?
Exactly. Jur-E, clever people can always come up with a good excuse. But while you might be able to get other people to believe you, you'll never be able to deceive yourself. There's nothing wrong with wanting to win other people's respect, but when has Uncle Tien ever looked down on you? He was like a teacher and a father to you, but you chose to repay that by poisoning him. Whatever positive goal you may have started out with, you threw it away in that moment.
That's enough.
Ahora se va a poner a llorar. En serio.
What makes this even crueler is that you managed to convince yourself there was no other way. Uncle Tien was always going to give you this opportunity.
Ya se la había dado
Nothing at all.
antes, pero bueno.
Out of everyone in the world, he is the one who trusts you the most. So much that he drank your fish soup without doubting you, not for 1 second.
Múltiples veces.
That's enough.
Ahora va a llorar. Oh, qué penita. En fin.
Cannot be rushed. Whatever you do, impatience will accomplish nothing. I was just like you once, desperate to prove myself. Only later did I realize things do not always turn out the way you plan, but you have to keep calm to carry on. You're still young. Be patient, believe in yourself, and don't look outside yourself to prove your value. Where's Jury these days? It's been a long time since he last paid me a visit.
Maybe he's just busy.
Well, next time, if he doesn't bring a pot of piping hot fish
No estoy
soup, don't
sintiendo
let him.
absolutamente nada ahora mismo.
Whatever you were thinking about, you'll have plenty of time to mull it over in prison. Oh, I almost forgot.
O menos mal que ha hecho
If
esto,
the Fatui
sinceramente.
find out what happened today, prison might not turn out to be the safest place for you. Trying to have friends on both sides, it has a way of turning everyone against you. But right now, I have an opportunity for you.
Vente a trabajar conmigo.
Sorry, things are about to get extremely busy for me. Let's meet at Yenshang Tea House tomorrow morning.
Vale.
I'll have someone remove the explosives. Then, there's someone I have to go and see.
¿Puedo quemarlo?
Need our help with that?
Quiero quemarlo. Quiero
No,
quemarlo.
it could be dangerous. You should leave this one to the professionals.
Vale, ten cuidado.
Don't worry. As long as they're willing to cooperate, this will be a straightforward deal. Get some rest. See you tomorrow.
Vale, dejadme quemar eso, porfa, que dejadme quemar eso. Por favor, dejadme quemar eso. Va a ser con Ven, además.
Everybody stand back.
¿Eh? 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 ¿Por qué no arde? No hay boom. ¿Por qué no hay kaboom? Estoy muy decepcionado con este juego. Joder, yo quería un kaboom. ¡Qué putada! No, venga, cofre valioso. Algo es algo. ¡Ay! ¡Qué putada! Bueno, pues nada, por lo menos he quemado paja, supongo. Útil. Bueno. Espero hasta el siguiente día a las 8 y voy a hacerlo aquí. Que seguramente sea en la tarima esta, ¿cómo se llama? En la plaza esta de aquí delante. Hasta las 8. Mira, perfecto. Espero que no tenga que hacerlo exacto, porque me pasa un poco. ¿Te imaginas? Empieza todo sin mí porque me he pasado 17 minutos de la hora. Vale, no. Ay, salón de té. Vaya por Dios, pues me equivoco de lado. Al final siempre lo mismo. Vale.
Listen, as long as you stick to your own path, it doesn't matter what Mother Nature throws at you.
Sí, supongo.
There is now no poison left in his system. But recovery from the damage already done will not happen overnight.
Dr. Baiju, is my father going to be...
You needn't worry too much. Keep taking the prescribed medicine every day, and a full recovery will take at most 2 to 3 years. It's good we caught it in time. A few days later, and the toxin would have built up in the internal organs. At that point, things would have been much more serious.
How did they
RIP, está diciendo.
secure such a seldom seen poison? It seems the Fatui are extremely resourceful. Unfortunately for them, they were up against us.
Uncle Tien will be heading off now. Remember to get plenty of rest and avoid overexerting yourself while you're recovering.
Bueno, ya veremos.
Don't worry, I will. Thank you, Barry.
Ay, bueno, pues ahora todo como antes, ¿no? Nadie necesita ser el nuevo eje celestial, o como se llame. A lo buenas.
Ah, you're here too? Thank you for all you've done to resolve this situation. I'll have to make some tea in a moment. You simply have to try it.
Estás bien, colega. No me irás a envenenar, ¿no?
Yes, the exhaustion seems to have gone. My mind is steadily getting clearer again.
Luckily, it looks like choosing the Tianshu's successor is suddenly not such a pressing issue after all.
Hey, Yelan!
My work is mostly wrapped up, so I thought I'd take a minute to check in here. The assessment process comes to an end here, Uncle Tien. In my opinion, Zhi is not suitable for the position.
No, yo tampoco lo creo.
Qianwei and Mingbo both have potential.
Mingbo.
People can change their loyalties easily. I've always known this. But whenever it happens, it's still a dismal experience.
Is it just Paimon, or is Uncle Tien not that surprised?
Ya se lo olía, ¿no? Por eso la llamó a ella concretamente, que es una investigadora.
Don't underestimate Uncle Tien. He wouldn't have appointed me as assessment officer if he
Esto sería bastante más
Normally, the UR
esperable si no se hubiese dejado envenenar.
Isn't that right, Uncle Tien?
Yes, to be quite honest, I wanted to trust him unreservedly. But I have to be responsible with the position of Tianshu. When I've first met Juri, I wondered if he had approached me with a hidden agenda, so I secretly investigated him. I concluded that he had no ulterior motives whatsoever. He just saw me as an ordinary fishing friend. In the end, even he changed. But when did it start?
¿Qué habría ocurrido si nada de esto hubiera pasado?
I never had any plans to recommend him directly, but I always intended to give him the chance to compete on a level playing field. Family background and fame mean everything to many people, but I don't attach great importance to them. I had no reputation to speak of when I first became Tianshu. I relied on Ganyu's assistance for all manner of things.
La asistencia de Ganyu creo que pesa bastante, ¿eh?
Was his intelligence and resilience.
I have to admit, he's a smart guy, and very cautious. The intel suggests that the Fatui saw him as very low risk, but Juri was still extremely careful with the poisoning. He chose that specific liquor from Shinue Kiosk because the fiery flavor would mask the bitterness of the poison, and he chose to wait until the Fatui official was drunk and had his guard down before delivering it to him. He also installed a secret compartment in the wine pot he bought to hold the poison. As the amount of liquor went down, he'd shake the pot to release the poison from the compartment into the liquor.
Ah, esto es una tetera de verdad, ¿cómo se llama? Una jarra de verdad. Bastante popular en China. Cuanto envenenamiento, digo.
But that's still really dangerous.
Yes. Had he drunk the poisonous wine, he still would have faced serious health consequences despite taking the antidote. He didn't hesitate to put himself in harm's way to achieve his goal.
How is Juri now?
¿En serio te preocupa? Después de todo. Intentó matarte. Casi lo consigue, de hecho.
He is sitting in a jail cell. Like Yanfei says, everyone who breaks the law has to pay the price. Still, he's cooperating. He didn't turn down my offer to strike a deal. I'll make sure there are plenty of guards around to keep him safe from anything the Fatui might be planning.
A deal? Does this have to do with what you said to him when you arrested him?
Yes, Juri's not the one I'm interested in. If he was as far as this went, I'd have handed the case off to my subordinates as soon as I realized. But once the Fatui became involved, things got a whole lot more interesting. I thought I might have the chance to catch a big fish.
Well, did you?
No.
Almost.
Me encanta que sigan haciendo cosas con los peces.
Off the hook at the last second.
Uncle Tien, Yelan, what
Oh,
are you
no le ha
talking
funcionado.
about? Paimon doesn't understand.
Jur-E colluded with the Fatui to try and secure the position of Tianshu. Or, to put it the other way around, the Fatui made an attempt to interfere in the Tianshu selection process. With Yusupov in our hands and a statement from Jur-E, we could afford to continue with a diplomatic offensive. Also, we'd be able to gain control of Theophan, Yusupov's second-in-command. Then we'd have a pawn in the ranks of the Fatui. Pawns like this can be major assets.
Ay, dice que no le ha funcionado bien. ¿Ese era tu plan desde el principio? No creo que desde el principio, pero desde que se enteró, por lo menos.
Why else did you think I was investing so much time and effort into this case?
Porque quería ser
Okay,
el eje,
well,
supongo.
did your plan succeed?
No, no
We
funcionó.
got halfway. The first part went off without a hitch, and we passed all the information on to Lady Ningguang. But when we tried to make contact with Theophan, he was gone, along with all the evidence.
Vaya por Dios.
The Fatui must be spying on us. Otherwise, they'd never been able to respond so quickly.
I found out from other sources that the Harbinger, Regrator, got involved.
Regatero.
The Fatui's main forces aren't concentrated here. Regrator was only treating this as a peripheral concern. It's a pity that Theophan got away. But knowing
Me
which
suena mucho el
Harbingers
nombre
are
de
still looking
Theophan.
at
Creo que lo he
Liyue
escuchado en
is
algún
something.
momento ya.
It gives me a starting point for
Pero
my
no
next
consigo
mission.
recordar quién era.
I have to ask, Yelan, do you have any desire to take over the position of Tianshu yourself? I remember you showed some interest a few days ago at Yenshang Tea House. In my estimation, you are more than competent.
Oh, that. I was obviously joking. I prefer my current life. There's danger and there's excitement. Although it'd still be a behind-the-scenes role, as Tianshu, I wouldn't have the chance to get involved in anything truly clandestine or face any real
Sí, que se
danger.
aburriría, está queriendo decir, lo pillo.
All right, I'm done here. Time for me to go. I'm heading off again in a few days, and I still have to prepare.
Where are you off to this time?
As you might have guessed, it's for me to know and you to find out.
Oh, wow,
But I'm
jaja.
sure if you keep going as you are, getting yourselves involved in other people's business all the time, you're sure to get caught up in another misadventure before too long.
Sí, no, no,
Maybe
ningún
I'll see you
problema.
the next time danger beckons. Until then, keep your wits about you. A lot of people are watching you.
Ay,
for
gracias
a
por
lot of
el
reasons.
follow a raro. ¡Anda,
If you have
Coda!
any more
Hola.
questions,
Perdón,
just
no está
ask
pasando
Uncle
nada.
Tian. After the recent turn
Está
of
aburriendo un
events,
poco.
I'd say he owes you one, wouldn't you?
Vale. Hemos terminado la misión de Yelan. Tengo que disculparme. Que justo has llegado y termino. Perdón. Pero bueno, en cualquier caso. La misión ha sido una puta mierda. Ha sido una putísima mierda. 2 jodidas horas de misión. Exactamente. Llevo 2 horas y 1 minuto de misión. No ha ocurrido nada. Ha sido completamente inútil. Si no hubiese estado yo aquí, es decir, si no hubiese participado yo en la misión, hubiese ocurrido todo exactamente igual y no hubiera pasado absolutamente nada. Y la conclusión de la misión es que no ha pasado absolutamente nada. Ni han conseguido información de los Fatui para poder ir contra ellos en ofensiva, ni han cambiado al eje celestial, ni me han contado una mierda sobre Yelan. No han dicho absolutamente nada. No hay absolutamente nada en la misión. Y me he comido 2 putas horas de misión. Me he comido 2 putas horas de misión súper emocionado por hacerla, porque encima me he tenido que comer otros 3 días de la misión principal nueva, que está limitada. Y aún así, no ha pasado nada. ¿Cómo es posible? ¿En qué momento? ¿Cómo? ¿Por qué es tan larga? O sea, es que pienso en lo que ha ocurrido y es que no veo nada. O sea, no veo que haya pasado nada en la misión, pero ¿cómo es posible? ¡Ay, Dios! Creo que es la misión legendaria de personaje más larga. Creo que es la misión... O sea, es que me las he hecho todas. Creo que es la más larga de absolutamente todas ellas. Supongo que la de Zhongli, como son 2, puedes contar como que esa es más larga. Es que no, es que es la más larga. Oh, bueno, sí que sin ser tan aburrida como la de Kokomi, supongo. Hemos hecho algo en esta. Pero Dios mío, casi me muero. He pensado en dormirme 3 veces durante la misión. Y porque es que me han metido combates por en medio para despertarme, que no por otra cosa. Ay. Como iba diciendo... Perdón. No quería quejarme tanto, ¿vale? Pero es que, joder, llevo aguantándome un rato. Largo, además. Uno larguito ya. Vamos a dejarlo por aquí, ¿vale? Llevo ya un rato... Vaya por Dios, da la bienvenida. Hola, Only You. Lo siento, me voy ya. Justamente. Ya lo siento, ¿vale? Pero es que tengo que ir a autoescuela ahora. En fin, hemos terminado ya, ¿vale? Te recomiendo, ¿vale? Ahora que termino yo, que no veas esta misión. Dios mío, qué estrés, te lo prometo. Ha sido horrible, sinceramente. Bueno, pobrecito. Sí que lo soy. En fin. Espero que os haya gustado los 10 segundos que habéis pasado aquí. Y bueno, nada, vamos a dejarlo ya, ¿vale? Lo siento, vamos a terminar ya. Espero que os haya gustado y vale. Ay, chao.